Am I ready? Am I not ready? Am I ready or not ready? That is the question, right? Well, I am here for kind of, I guess you can say, like, my reading journey, um, joys of the mom life, because I hear my son playing the game, talking. Um, oh, what do I say? Oh, yes. The what have I been reading? What have I been up to? Reading update, something update. I don't know what to call it, but we're gonna call it my braids. I have my hair braided, and it's like bothering me that it's sticking out. I know you're like, oh my gosh, can this girl get it together? No, I cannot. All right, let's go back. Yes. Hey, this is a reading update. What I've been reading, what I want to read. I know the probably wrong because I had to change my calendar. Like, why? Why? I can't focus. Ugh. Has anybody else been like that lately where you just like unable to focus? But, what have I been reading? What have I been reading? What I want to read? What I'm currently reading? Yes, that's the updates. I actually had a video that I recorded, but yeah, life happened. Between work and home and doctor's appointments and life, and yeah, I didn't get a chance to do it. Nor am I feeling guilty because I wanted to feel guilty for not doing it, but not today. And I'm not going to ramble. So I have been reading lots of children's books. If you don't know, hey, I'm Jerry. Ooh. Yes, and I currently work with young children, so I'm always scoping out cool children's books to read to the kiddos. So, of course, yeah, I had a good time reading. Um, One book I have read because February was National Library Lovers Month. So practically all of the books that I am going to talk about is from the library. This one is Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Book. I like this book. It's told a story about a little boy who did not take care of his books and he falls asleep while reading his book. And yes, because of that, he falls into the story. So it was great to uh, identify the different stories that the little boy was in that fell into, like Hansel and Gretel, Puss in Boots, Cinderella, um, Goldilocks and the Three Bears. So it was great to see that. It was very funny, and the pages were very interactive, like the door opening to the party, as well as the little boy going upside down. So you had to turn the book upside down to read. So that was good. This little piece of braid is like bothering me, and I'm going to fix it. Okay, I guess it's fixed. Yes. I guess I'm one of those people that if it's not perfect, like I get really like full of anxiety. So yes, my braid wasn't perfect, but whatever. It is what it is. So I enjoy that one. I actually have like a big bag of the books because I have to return them to the library. This is one of the bags that I read, take to the library. And now my son is coming. So sorry, my son needed something. You know, I can never do life. So back to what we're talking about. This bag is one of the bags that I take to to the library when I want to return. Sure, yes, I have the bag of books. So I have that one, and also keeping with the book and reading, I have How to Read a Book by Kwame Alexander. When I talk about the pictures, the illustrations, amazing. I read Crossover by Kwame Alexander, and I think I read another one by Kwame Alexander. And it's him describing how it's felt, how you feel when you're reading a book is amazing. Because I felt the same, like I felt the same as in the book. Like piece by piece, part by part, page by rustling page. And like I hear the pages rustling. And I feel like just I feel the same feelings as I'm reading a book. And I guess it made me become like a child and enjoying reading from a child's perspective. So that was fun. I loved it. And the pictures were amazing. I also I also read this one. Oh my gosh. Isn't this girl adorable? Yes. The library book. So I got this book at the library, and when I say, as soon as I saw the cover, I was like, oh my gosh, this girl is adorable. Adorable. And I also shared this for Black History Month to show um, people of color, I'm going to say black people, in books, in literature. So, of course, to celebrate Black History Month, to celebrate Library Lovers Month, I had to read this one. The first page, the first line, well, actually, the first 3 pages was Saturday morning and the rain is pouring. Dad worked last night. He's in there snoring. Same old stuff on TV, boring. So what? So what if I can't go out and play? I know what I'll do today. And she's going to go pick out a book at the library and walking in the rain. And if you have ever seen me, look at that outfit. That describes me so bad. Little Jerry. With my hair puffed up, my raincoats, my leggings, my rain boots, and my dress. This little girl is adorable. And as she's going through the books at the library, she is she is basically surrounded by the different stories like Winnie the Pooh and Cinderella and Sherlock Holmes, and it's like the friends of the stories coming out to be with her. And I thought that is amazing. Again, coming from a childlike state of reading books, I think. All right, this is a tangent and a side note, and I don't want to ramble, but I have to say it. I think because of YouTube and book Twitter and Bookstagram and Book Talk and all of these other things that share the love of reading and share reading, I think reading has become more of a job and more of a like um like a chore than enjoyment. Yes, you read for knowledge and you read to learn, but you also read for enjoyment. And these last 2 stories, How to Read a Book and the library book, made me remember why I love reading. And I love traveling to faraway places that I probably would never go to, or make believe places, or reading about things that happened in the past that I can't go back and see, or reading about things that happen in the future that I might not be alive to see. And it just really made me think and re- basically think and also re-examine my reading habits and why I read, because I found myself reading books based off of what's popular or hit on across the book internet, and I didn't find myself enjoying them because I was doing what reading what other people were reading and making it more of a chore than what it really is. And yes, I have to get this book. I have to buy this book. Actually, I'm right now on a book buying, unless I can get a book for free or low cost. I'm trying to save money. We're trying to save money, so of course I'm kind of on a book buying ban right now. Yeah. But I do want to get this on cop and I want to buy this copy because I think the book was amazing and it was so adorable and I want to be this little girl. I really, really do. The next book I read was The Undefeated, also by Kwame Alexander, and it talks about Black history and just going through the history and remembering those who came and who are here current and for the future. And the pictures are, I swear, I think all of his children, so far, the two books that I read by him, the children, the illustrations are amazing. And I actually want to like buy it just for the illustrations. I mean, it's put history in, you know, in your face, and I love it. And it this also gave the the hope and the encouragement as a Black person to follow my dreams and, you know, allow the strength from my ancestors to help me and keep me strong. And I love it. Yes. Amazing. Amazing. The last, I mean, not the last, but the next three are these Little People Big Dreams, Maya Angelou, Michael Jordan, and Rosa Parks. These my children loved in my class. It talks about the history of those people and it puts it into the understanding of children, and the kids love seeing these people as kids and growing up and learning more history about these people was amazing. And so I always enjoy these versions of Little People Big Dreams. I actually have a Little People Big Dreams little one board book of African American women. And so yes, I always love this, and this was something that I read to my class for Black History Month for them to learn. And the next one of my children's books I read was Little Stevie Wonder, and it came with a CD. And this was so cute because it actually shared some of his songs, which was really cool. And I thought the aesthetic of the pictures were amazing. So this was another one that I read with my children because um, I yes, I thought it was cute, and it was also informative for the kids to learn something new about someone that they probably never heard of, which was Stevie Wonder. I'm gonna take a sip of my tea because my throat is dry. And not sponsored or anything, but this is from my women's group. I bought it. I from with a blah blah. Back it up. My women's group from church. This is one of their merch, if you want to call it, to kind of like, you know, share or you know, kind of have people like, what cup is that from? Oh, it's from Daughters, from our church women's group. Yes. And the size of this mug is amazing. I use this mug a lot. A lot. It's one of my favorite mugs. The next two books are adult books. And this one, oh my goodness, Passing by Nella Larson. This was amazing. I, despite it being a very short book, I really took my time because I wanted to know more about, first of all, the time frame is 1920s, and if you know, I love from 1920 to 1950. That is my era of time that I love to read about, to watch, dress up, all of that. But the character in the story, Claire, and her friend, forget her name. No, I'm sorry. Irene and her friend Claire both pass as white women um, back during this time. And they're very light skinned. And so they, of course, because you're, when you're in that time frame and you're black, it's not ideal. It's not good. It's a very bad time for you. I mean, even now, don't get me started, but tangent, not going there. But anyway, during that time, yes, most people, and I'm starting to realize a lot of people did pass for that time. During that time, if you were very light skin, blonde hair, I mean, if my hair was blonde or very light brown, I could probably pass. I don't know. I don't know. But Irene reconnects with her childhood friend Claire, and she gets back to that friendship. And so she meets Claire's husband. And when I say I was devastated to read how her husband was, because of course he's white and he thinks that Claire and her friends are white. He uses some very, very harsh words to describe his wife, jokingly. And so it goes through that friendship of Claire and Irene, going through their friendship and through the days passing as a white person. And so they go to a party at the end. I don't want to spoil it. I'm not going to spoil it. But something happens at the end. And Claire has to, one, figure out how to tell her husband that she is actually black. And Irene has to basically, how do I want to word it? Because I feel like I read this a while ago, so I'm trying to remember my thoughts of when I should have wrote down my thoughts of this down. But Irene has to both keep her secret keep Claire's secret, but also keep her secret because, like I said, there's something that she has to pass as a white person to maintain this lavish lifestyle, to maintain, feeling comfortable. And it made me question what black people do to maintain their um, their comfort um, while being around white people. And I thought of the story The Vanishing Half, because that one is also about passing. And the author, she wrote the foreword, um, or the introduction of this in this copy of the book. And I personally want to actually read because I read The Vanishing Half and now this. I actually want to read both of them and actually sit and basically kind of like annotate and really dive into um why people really like more information on why people passed during that time. And also I thought it was one of those, like, dealing with the character. I kind of felt like holding those secrets it's very hard. I mean, to not tell your spouse or not tell anybody else about who you actually are is hard. And for these ladies to keep that secret was very hard for them. And yeah, I really want to take both of those books and kind of read not side by side, but really annotate and dive into that. I know The Vanishing Half did not happen in 1920. I believe she made the book between 1950 to present. But yes, this was really, really good. And apparently, I'm not sure if it's Netflix, Hulu, or Amazon Prime that had this movie or a series or something. I'm not quite sure if it was a movie or a series based on this book. And I am going to try to see if I can find it. I'm not a big TV movie type person, but I would love to see if it's similar to the book. And of course, I tagged um, here, but there's one quote that I loved, and it's, she was caught between two allegiances, different yet the same. Herself, her race, that thing that bound and suffocated her. And it's like, oh my gosh. Like, oh, the very thing that, you know, she kept it inside of who she really was. And I feel for some people who have to hide who they really are in order to be comfortable or live a comfortable life. Um, and yeah, this was a really good book. I gave this, I believe, 5 stars. 5 stars. And I know there's more books by Nella Larson. And also in the back, there are other prominent women writers of the Harlem Renaissance, and that I love the Harlem Renaissance. I mean, I've read Zora Neale Hurston, but there's other women here that I never heard of, and I am anxious and excited to read. So, the last one that I read was Valdemir, Julia May Jonas, and this is one of the book of the month picks that I got, and I thought, okay, I think I gave this book a 3 star because I literally thought I was gonna love this book. I really, really did. I mean, I enjoyed it. It was good. I finished it, but I did not think the book was going to end the way it did. um, but yes, like this book. First of all, let me tell you, this sounds crazy, but I literally, like, when I first read the first like sentences, I was like, when I was a child, I loved old men, and I can tell they also loved me. They loved how eager I was to please them, how much I wanted to think well of me. They would wink at me and find me precarious. Their approval filled me with pleasure. And I was like, let me see where this is going. I really thought it was going to be like a Lolita type. I never read. I don't think I read that one, but I actually want to. Which is why do okay? I read weird dark books. I don't know why. I don't know. It makes me happy. I don't know. Gives me drama that I don't have in my life. But it's about a professor who, her and her husband made an agreement in their marriage that they will have an open marriage, no questions asked, no comments in return. And so her husband is also a professor at the local college where they live, and he's under investigation for having inappropriate relations with students. Now, his students are not underage, they are of age, they are consenting adults. However, because he is a professor, he is not allowed to have relationships with his students. So, of course, because he is found and people did admit to having those relations, the students admit to having those relationships. He's, excuse me, he is going through that. So basically, he's going through that investigation. So Valdemir is another young adjunct professor at the local college, and the lady, the professor, her name is, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, I forget what is her name. I cannot think of what her name is. I cannot think of what her name is, but she's a professor. It will come back. It will come to me. Watch when I'm done talking about it. Well, she first meets him, and she is head over heels of him. She thinks he's young, cute, and of course, she's like, I want to get to know him in a very adult way. So of course, she does get to know him, but in a way that you least expect it. And this story does follow um, her journey into finding herself, because as independent and strong as she may come across in the story, she's very weak, and she's very um, she lacks self-confidence and self-esteem, to be honest, because she doesn't know what she wants, but she knows what she wants. And then she gets upset that her husband is, she thinks he's fooling around with somebody else, but then she wants to fool around with him. So it was like, lady, get yourself together. So I thought, I was reading it and I was invested in the story. Like, she's also a writer, which, oh my goodness, I need to find the quotes, but she was like, this guy made her want to write. And I will say, when I was reading this book, I was inspired to write. I had, like, there was so much in my head. I don't know. It was like I don't want to say a drug, but it was like a volt in my body that was like, oh my gosh, like something came to my head and I needed to write it down. So, like, I will say that I was inspired to write from the beginning of this book. But then when I got middle of this book, it got boring and stagnant. Like, I started, like, I don't want to say skimming some pages, but I wanted to skim because I was like, yes, we understand her husband's in an investigation. She doesn't want to leave the college despite what other people are telling her, because her husband is who he is and what's going on with him. And then her daughter comes and says she needs to leave for the dad. It was very dry and boring. And then she invites Valdemir to her cabin. And I'm thinking that she was going to be excited to spend time with him. And I don't want to spoil it, but she wasn't. And I'm going to say that she wasn't. And it was like, you built this whole infatuation of Valdemir. And, like, you just, like, felt bad that you did. And it was just like, lady. But then again, we do that as women, or we do that as people. We become infatuated with someone that we think we're going to be head over heels with, and then when we finally get that person and we know that the person's not good for us, it's like, ugh. So I guess I can see that. But I thought it was going to be excited about this book. I was at first, then I got midway and to the end, and it was like, and the way it ended so quick and, like, dry. If you love a very weird marriage story, this is your book. But it was alright. It was alright. Yes. The next books that I am reading, and then I will be ending this long rant video. I am currently still going through Tozer. I am taking my time because Tozer is amazing. I am currently in the book The Purpose of Man, talking about worship. So I love Tozer's writing, despite him being an author from way back when. So relatable for current time as a Christian. And I'm also reading through this. I'm taking my time through this one. This is Bringing the Psalms to Life, and it talks about what you learn through the book of Psalms in the Bible. And the author is a Jewish rabbi, and he speaks to not only Jewish audiences but Christian. And I'm learning a lot. And I'm reading through Psalms and actually seeing how David is very, very, like, you can see he was a human man, and you can see that things that he went through and his questions to God about life and about God's judgment and about God's presence and about God being powerful but also being loving. Yes, amazing. And I'm also reading through Psalms personally for myself, because someone had like this thing of like a quiz, like take this quiz and then it'll tell you what book of the Bible you should read next. And I took the quiz and yeah, it was Psalm. The last book I'm reading is The Treasury of Magical Tales from Around the World. And I, when I get in a mood, most likely at night, when I need something happy or cute or mystical or magical to read, I go through these. These are different fairy tales from all over the world, places that I've, some of them I don't think I ever heard of. Probably did, but I didn't pay attention. But I do like this because it gives you some information about certain animals and certain things in the story. So yes, I enjoy this, and it's something that me and my son love to do is read fairy tales. So that is it. That is what I have read, what I'm currently reading, and what I will read. I don't know because I have so many things that I need to do for work and so many books that I want to read. I know I want to read The Godfather because that's in one of the great American reads. That's the list that they had on PBS a while ago that I watched. And I also want to read um, the books. There is a list I saw, and I'm going to see if I can make sure that I link it below. But it's about a book, a classic book around the world, like what they're recommended to read in that country. And so, yes, I want to read that. I want to read something from there. I'm learning not to give myself a TBR because I've been a mood reader and I just been reading whatever I felt like it, and that's okay. So, that's it for the rambles. I hope this video was a light, something to laugh or smile about. Um, we need to laugh and we need to smile. Like life has been over the past 3 years have been crazy. So I am trying to make sure that I am sharing the lights and being positive, but also being real. And yeah. So tell me what you're reading lately. I have some ideas of new videos, so hopefully I'll post them soon. I hope you guys are staying safe. You're staying healthy. Um, take some time out to find the joy in something, whether it be big or small. Find something to smile about. And if you have any more time in your day, please, or you can, pick up a book and read. I hope you have a good one. God bless. I love you, even though I don't see you, even though I have never met you. But I still love you and God loves you. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.